Yo, what's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? We're back. It's only been like what, like 1 or 2 weeks since we made the last video, so you know we're back now, and we're doing Fire Force.
Saying I could die for real?
Yeah. Slow down. Come out. Black truck ride. 4-5 on side. 2 hoes on me. One black, one blind. 2 poles on me. I'm damn near blind. I don't like to throw no titles out, but she damn near mine. I only took 1 hit of it, but I'm damn near flying. Shit, I'm damn near gone. Touch me 5 and crack your bone. I done been to taste so many times, that's damn near my home. I done gave out papes so many times, I'm damn near alone.
Episode begins like right where I left off, where I left off, because I would do like the other episodes, but like they were low key boring. So we're just gonna time skip to the Shinra versus Captain Burns fight. I mean, Joker was here too, but his ass wasn't doing nothing. It begins with Shinra trying to speed blitz Captain Burns. That didn't even phase Captain Burns, however. He eats the 2 kicks from Shinra and sends him right back out flying. Shinra takes off the coat and realizes it's time to lock in. Right before they're about to throw hands though, and then flashbacks to Captain Burns' like younger life. Basically, he prayed to God like every day, but nothing happened. Basically, Joker presses him saying like, despite how like broken this world is or whatever, you're still praying to who and like for what purpose. Captain Leonard basically says that he's a priest who serves God and he'll pray no matter what. Joker basically says he can't live his life like that because he wants that freedom. Captain Burns basically says if there is no God, where's his prayers going to? Captain Burns says that his prayers were wanted for nothing, but he only has to serve the end, which lies beyond the prayer. Shinra then puts on his best Naruto impression and says he won't give up. That's when Shinra starts charging up a fire around him, and Captain Burns says, if that's your attempt, then you have to surpass me. Shinra says, I bet we can run that, and then flash steps and speed blitzes Captain Burns. Captain Burns, however, wasn't even phased by it. He counters him and hits him with a mean left hook. That's when Shinra starts moving around like he's Sonic and starts spam blitzing Captain Burns. Shinra then flies 20 feet in the air like he's Iron Man. Shinra then comes flying off a kick, but of course, Captain Burns eats it. That's when Captain Burns hits Shinra with another counter. He charges up his fire and then hits Shinra through his gut. Shinra, however, wasn't about to go out like that. He speed blitzes Captain Burns for like the 8th time in a row and hits a point blank corner. Of course, though, that didn't even phase Captain Burns. They then exchange some blows, but then Captain Burns sends them flying. Shinra, however, doesn't know how to give up and wants to keep fighting. Joker basically says this fight's never gonna end unless the kid surpasses the old man, Captain Burns. That's when Shinra goes for another kick. Captain Burns, however, caught this guy's feet and starts spinning him around like he's doing spinjitzu. Shinra basically evases out of there, saying that if you want to go for a spin, we go for a spin, and accelerates his speed. Of course, though, Captain Burns doesn't want to deal with all that and lets go of him. Shinra pulls right back up and does like, I think this is what they call a cartwheel or back, I forgot what it's called, but he does 3 of those and then hits a kick that doesn't even connect. Like, bro, you're doing all that for no reason.
This nigga is trash.
Captain Burns got this nigga in the air like he's Mario. That's when Shinra just starts spamming his kicks on Captain Burns. Honestly, Shinra during this fight was looking like me when I just started playing a fighting game and I had no clue how to use any controls, just straight spamming. Captain Burns was tired of his ass doing no damage and just pushes him away. When Shinra starts like crashing out, he's basically saying if he could go fast enough, he can never lose in a battle of strength. You should see the way that DC does Flash. Shinra then says he has to go faster, pretty much explaining the whole entire plot of the Flash. Captain Burns was not impressed by this at all and sends his sorry ass down. While Shinra's getting bitched, Joker is deciding whether he wants to intervene. Basically, Joker says a dark hero like him can't be the one to change things and has to be a real hero. That's when Joker yells at Shinra to lock in. Once I saw the Shinra smile, I knew this guy was teed. That's when Shinra grabs Captain Burns' arms, does a 180 in the air, and kicks Captain Burns in the face. And then jumps on his crotch twice in a row for basically no reason whatsoever. Everyone else looked like Shinra was moving, he gets punched in the gut. I know that shit hurt. Shinra then basically uses the vertical boost that Captain Burns gave him by sending him flying in the air to go faster. Of course, though, once again, Captain Burns parried it. That's when Shinra hits a hard ass line, saying that he's gonna protect his brother's show and also protect his family, the 8th. That's when it pans over the show, and currently it seems like he's having a Adola Link. So it goes over to his childhood, and he sees Shinra, his older brother. Shinra then says he wants to be a hero that saves everyone, because there's precious lives that he wants to protect no matter what. That's when Shinra's flames turn from red to blue. meaning they're hotter and more powerful. Due to Captain Burns' ability, the longer a fight goes on, the hotter he gets. Pause. That's when Shinra realizes he won't have many chances and really has to lock in. Unfortunately for him, Captain Burns' ability, Voltage Nova, is on stage 4. That's when they meet each other at the middle, and Captain Burns said that he's always wanted to simply pray and become a servant of God. Basically, saying his purpose is to expel devils. Then asks Shinra if that's all he's got, because God desires destruction and he's God's servant. So he just has her on the fade. After Captain Burns successfully rage baits Shinra, Shinra then says that no one can stop his kick. Not him, Captain Burns, and not even God. I'm not gonna lie, when I was watching this, that shit was low-key hard. That's when somehow, Shinra's kick phases through, I guess, let's say, Captain Burns Infinity, damn near, but it finally phases through. Right when it seems like Shinra actually finally did some damage, this guy has another power-up. Now, his Voltage Nova is on stage 5. This is when Captain Burns starts yapping that the world is heading into ruin, and he heard it himself from God. I'm not gonna lie, this guy might be delusional. Shinra though didn't care about none of that. Basically, the world going to ruin will not be good for his plans protecting Sho and his mother, so that's when he really has to lock in. That's when Shinra starts getting even faster. Shinra basically says, once he accelerates, no one can stop him. I guess you're Wally West? That's when Shinra says no matter what's happening to the world, his kick will send it flying. I'm not gonna lie, Shinra's low-key him. That's when it seems that his kick finally broke through the barrier that Captain Burns had. Of course though, Shinra was sweating, and because of the insane heat, his sweat pretty much vaporized. He was looking like Jimmy Butler during the bubble run, 44 minutes a night. That's when Captain Burns falls on the rock, and it seems like Shinra won. Basically, now it's gonna be a Captain Burns yap sesh, the classic yap sesh, unskippable cutscene when he's talking to his nephew. I'm basically just gonna summarize it. He basically finally acknowledges that Shinra has gotten stronger. Shinra then asks why didn't Captain Burns dodge his attacks even once. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I guess you want to give Captain Burns more aura before he goes out, but bro, don't you play this back? This guy clearly dodged that. I mean, I guess Shinra's just giving him the alley oop. Captain Burns basically says because young people like Shinra are the world's resistance, and as an Unk, he has to accept whatever comes his way. He then says if God's leading towards destruction, all he can do as an Unk is once again obey. And he says the eye that he left in the past can only see ruin. Captain Burns basically leaves everything up to Shinra and says basically, grow stronger than this world. Then pans over to, I think her name's Talking Head or whatever, saying that a new pillar has been born. All of a sudden, it goes back to Shinra, and it seems like he's about to have an Adola link. That's when all of a sudden, Captain Burns gets stabbed right through his stomach. I'm not gonna lie, when they be doing this in animes, when they be making you put into first person, they do this for Gojo versus Toji. Whenever they use first person camera view of getting stabbed through your stomach, I'm not gonna lie, it's always so tough. Turns out he got stabbed by a demon infernal, and it also seems that's a doppelganger. That's when the camera pans over to the other Captain 8 members or Division 8 or whatever it's called, and there's also an infernal there too, a doppelganger, and Iris is tweaking obviously because her past trauma. That's when all of a sudden it seems like the infernal is charging up a Sarah. That's when Maki's fine ass tries to block the Sarah with her 2 hands like she's Yukiora. Maka, that is not your body. Infernal basically says, what can a mere human do, and sends a Sarah. I'm not gonna lie, why is she trying to block that Sarah? It seems like it's about to kill her. And I mean, I could have told her that was just not a good decision. And when it seems like Maki's about to get evaporated, that's when Iris used some ability, I don't know what it's called, but basically they're all chilling. Start praising Maki because they didn't know what happened, but turns out it was divine grace from Iris. Then pans over back to Shinra and Captain Burns, and right now Captain Burns is honestly going out crazy, I'm not gonna lie. Me personally, I couldn't go out like this, but when I was watching this, I was low-key sad for real, because Captain Burns was low-key growing on me. Right when it seems like Shinra's about to tweak again, Joker tells him to tee up because he has to remember the reason they got there in the first place was to get Ubi. That's when Captain Burns yells at Shinra to dip, and Joker takes Shinra and they head out. And this scene really made me so sad for real. He always said that his prayers ask for nothing, but in this final scene, when he's about to go out, he prays. It seems like the Infernal and Captain Burns get sent into some kind of portal I'm guessing that's about to be explained like near the end of the season, but I don't know. Then pans over back to the members of the Eighth, and it seems like they're about to go outside because Hasa, or I honestly have no clue to say her name. I'm just gonna call her Talking Head. Basically says to kill everyone but the pillars. This weird bot thingy says to have a high chance of survival, and it's of course because someone pulled up, and he goes by a name, a Moonlight Mask. But I think we all know who it really is. And that's the end of this episode of Fire Force. If y'all want me to review like different animes, like you can put it down in the comment section. Or if you want me to do more Fire Force, you can let me know. But I'll catch y'all next year.